In this video we're gonna make this eagle. Okay, whenever we comes in of this attack radius, okay, a certain radius of this eagle, it will follow the player. Okay, find the eagle sprite. Okay, find the eagle sprite. So select first one and drag it into this in view. Just wait, drag it. As you can see, it's pretty small. So what we need to do, we're gonna select all of the sprites. Okay, select all of the sprites and make go to inspector, make pixel per unit to 16. Okay, 16 less, so it will be larger. And bilinear to select, filter mode to select, point no filter, and compression to none. And then after doing this, hit apply. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna move this eagle over here, select the move tool. So we're gonna flip this eagle horizontally. So what we need to do, select the eagle, go to sprite renderer. As you can see, flip in the x or y. We're gonna flip this into x direction, means horizontally. So we're gonna check this, and now it's flipped. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna name this. I'm gonna move it in the top so we can see it in the hierarchy. Okay, so we will name this to eagle firstly. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna attach rigid body to the component, and we're gonna make it kinematic so it won't fall down by gravity. So we're gonna attach rigid body 2D, go to add component and find the rigid body 2D and set it to dynamic to kinematic, and collision detection select to continuous. Okay, and freeze the rotation in the z axis so it won't rotate like this. Okay, so that's why we have to freeze rotation in the z axis. So go to transform, I'm going to select the rotation in the z 0. Okay, so we also need to add a collider. Okay, add a collider. So what we're gonna do, you can choose any collider, box collider or circle collider. I'm gonna select circle collider 2D. Okay, and go to circle collider and edit collider, and make the collider size of this sprite. Okay, size of this sprite, I guess I'm gonna make it little like this much, and now it's pretty fine. Okay, I'm gonna select 1.2 radius. Okay, so we also need to attach a eagle script. Okay, we're gonna make it, we're gonna specify an attack radius around the eagle. And if that attack radius the player comes in, so the eagle will attack or attack or move towards the player. Okay, will move towards the player. So head again to a script folder. Okay, right click, create C# script, name that script to eagle, name that script to eagle. Okay, and hit enter, double click it to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, double click it to open up in Visual Studio and attach this script to our eagle. Okay, so double click it first to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, so Visual Studio, and head again to Unity. So select the eagle and drag this eagle script to add component section of eagle. Okay, you need to attach this eagle script to eagle. So firstly we're gonna specify an attack radius. In that radius, the if the player comes in that radius, so the eagle will attack. Okay, and we also have to assign an layer. Okay, which layer we want to target. We're gonna target the player layer only. Okay, so what we have to do, select the eagle and drag the eagle script to add component. Okay, so what we're gonna do, firstly we need two things. Okay, firstly we're gonna specify it. Okay, we're gonna come in the top of the script. Okay, and we're gonna specify first we're gonna make it public so we can adjust in the inspector. So this will be float. Okay, float value. So, and we will call this one attack radius. Okay, attack radius. Okay, attack radius. And the second thing, we want to target the layer. Okay, we will only target the player layer. Okay, so we have to make this, we're gonna make it public so we can set. Okay, this will be layer mask. Okay, layer mask, and we will call layer mask. Okay, a layer mask or layer something like that, and control as on your keyboard and head again to Unity. Okay, you will able to see and two field. Okay, firstly the speed, firstly the attack radius. Okay, and the second thing, you will see the layer marks. We will assign layer marks as a player layer. Okay, so what you have to do, what you have to do, you can select by default any value over here, attack radius by equal, and you can set any value. Okay, so just head again to Unity. It will compile for a bit. Okay, wait for for completing domain. Just wait for that. I As you can see, layer which selected nothing. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the player layer. So what you have to do, first go to player. Okay, go to player. In inspector top right corner you can see layer which selected default. So what you have to do, click on that and add layer. Okay, and create a player layer. Okay, player. Okay, as you can see I have created. So head again to this player and select that layer as a player. Okay, and what we have to do, go to eagle. Okay, as you can see layer is selected nothing. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select player and we're gonna specify it and radius. Okay, specify something like 2. Okay, as you can see we cannot see the circle or attack radius. So what we have to do, we need to use on draw gizmo selected function. Okay, firstly what we're gonna do, we have to use, we're gonna go over to update function. Okay, we're gonna check every single frame. Okay, if the player comes in that attack radius, so we need to do it update function to check every time. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to use this physics 2d dot physics 2d. Okay, physics 2d dot overlap circle. So we have to use this function, and this function will take the position from where you want to make the at radius or the circle. Okay, you where you want to make the circle. So we're gonna make it from our eagle position. So we have to pass this transform dot position. Basically transform dot position means the current position of eagle. Okay, means the center position of eagle, and in the second parameter you have to pass the radius. Okay, so we're gonna pass the attack radius. By default I am going to set equal to something like 3f or 3 unit. Okay, so we are, and the third argument you have to pass the layer you want to target. So we're gonna pass the layer. Okay, as a layer we chosen the player layer. As we know, we if we head back to as you can see layer we assign it player. Okay, so we will only target the player. Okay, if the player comes in the radius. Okay, so so this function over here. Okay, this function over here will be true or false. Okay, if the player comes in this attack radius. Okay, so this function will be true. And if the player not comes in this attack radius, so this function over here will be false. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna put into an collider. Okay, so we can extract info collider 2d we have to, and we're gonna call it hit. Okay, equal to this, or hit info, something like that you can say. So this function over here will be true or false. If the player comes in the attack radius, so this function will be true, so the hit over here will be true. Okay, and we can extract info by going to this hit. Okay, hit like name and tag, something like that. Okay, and if the player not comes in or the player not in this attack radius, so this function over here will be false, so the hit over here will be false. So we're gonna check. Okay, we're gonna check if hit. Okay, if hit equals to true, or if hit, this means also true. Okay, so what we're gonna do, if the player comes in, so the hit over here will be true, and if it's true, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna print out the name. Okay, debug.log. So we have to type this. Okay, we're gonna extract info hit dot we will go to gamma object, and we can name, we can extract like name. Okay, and tag also. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna print out the name. So as we know, we selected a layer as a player layer, so we will only check the player if the player comes in this attack radius, so the hit will be true. So what we are doing, whatever we triggering, or the whatever the player comes in this radius. So what we are doing, we just extracting the name of the player, okay, what we hit, okay, or the circle will hit the player as we know. So what we are doing, we are just printing out the name of the game object. So the as we know, we assigned it the player as a player layer. So we will able to see the player name in the console, okay. It will only check this hit on this over here, physics 2d dot overlap circle will only check the player. If the player comes in this attack radius, so the hit over here will be 2. So if the hit is true, so what we are doing, we just printing out the name what we hit. As we know, we will hit the player, okay. So control s on your keyboard and head again to unity, okay. Head again to unity, you will able to see. Just wait for to compile, okay. So we are creating a circle from the center of the eagle. So that's why we have to that's why we pass transform dot position, okay. That means the position from where you want to create the circle, okay. Just wait for to compile and you will able to see that. Just wait for to compile, okay. So as you can see, we cannot able to see the circle, okay. Cannot able to see the circle. So what we have to do, we have to use on draw gizmo selected function. This is unity inbuilt function, okay. We have to type this on draw gizmos, okay. On draw gizmo selected function, okay. This function so we what we're gonna do, we're gonna draw, okay, gizmos dot draw where sphere, okay. Where sphere this, okay. So this function will take the position from where you want to create the circle, and it will take as a second parameter the attack radius, okay, the radius. So what we gonna create the circle from our eagle position. So sorry, eagle position. So we have to pass this transform dot position. Basically transform dot position means over here the eagle center position, okay. And we have to pass as a second parameter the radius. So we will pass the attack radius, okay. Attack radius, and you can select any color of this gizmos, okay. So I'm gonna select like this. You don't need to do this, okay. So I'm gonna select gizmos dot color equal to color dot, I'm gonna select the yellow one, okay. Yellow one, okay. And control s on your keyboard and head again to unity. So you will able to see and circle, okay, by 2 unit. As you can see, we set attack radius 2 unit in the inspector, okay. You can see. So we will able to see the radius of this circle will be 2 unit, and we can adjust the radius over here by increasing or decreasing. So we're gonna adjust, so that's why we made this attack radius public, okay. Uh, so so as you can see yellow, we have chosen the yellow color, and this is 2 unit, okay. It's creating the circle from center of this eagle position, okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna adjust the radius. As you can see, we're gonna make it something like 3, okay. Something like 3, and I'm gonna move it this eagle little bit over here, okay. Over here, okay. As you can see, okay. So go to console, okay. Go to console, I'm gonna clear this, okay. So go to console, and if we hit play, okay, if we hit play, and if the player comes in this radius of this eagle, so what we are doing, we are printing out the message what we hit. As we know, we will hit the player, okay. We assign it layer as a player layer, so we will only target the player layer. And as we know, if we go to player, we selected player as a player layer, as you can see in the layer in the top right. So if we comes, okay, if I select the eagle, and if we comes in the radius, as you can see, we are printing out the name of the game object that comes in the radius. As you can see, the player, okay. So what we gonna do, instead of printing out the message, we're gonna attack, or we're gonna move towards the player, okay. We're gonna move towards the player. So what we need the player position, okay. So we need the transform is responsible for player position. So we need the transform, and we need a speed to move towards or the player, okay. follow the player. Okay, so we also need an speed and the position of player. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create two field. Okay, firstly the transform, which is responsible for position. Okay, we will call this transform, this type of the component will be transform. You can call it player or player position, something like that. I'm gonna leave it player. Okay, and we also need define the speed the we should go or move towards the player. So we're gonna make it public so we can adjust in the inspector. Okay, public float, and I'm gonna call it something like move speed or speed. By default you can set any value. By default I'm gonna set 1.5. Okay, 5f or unit. Okay, control s on your keyboard and head icon to unity. You will able to see and two empty field will appear. Okay, the first will appear the transform. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to drag the player transform into transform field. So we will have the player position or link of the player position or reference. Okay, and the second will be the uh, mm, speed as we said by default 1.5 unit we will able to see, and we can adjust the value over here in the inspector in eagle script. Okay, so so as you can see 1.5 the speed, and player as you can see it says none. So what we need to do, drag the player transform into the player transform field. Okay, now we have the link or reference of this player position. Now we can do what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to over here. As you can see this function over here physics 2d dot overlap circle. Okay, this function will be true or false if the player comes in this attack radius. Okay, attack radius, so the hit over here will be true. If the player doesn't come in this radius. Okay, doesn't come in this radius, so the hit over here will be false. Okay, so what we're gonna do, if hits equals to true means the player comes in this attack radius. Okay, the player comes in this attack radius. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna move. Okay, so we have to use this vector2 dot move towards function. Basically this function will take the current position, and the second parameter it will take the target position where you want to go, and the third argument it will take the speed. Okay, how much speed should this eagle follow. Okay, or move towards move. Okay, so as the first argument we have to pass the current position. Okay, transform dot position means over here current position of eagle, and it will take the target position. So we have to pass the player dot position as we assign it over here. As you can see player. Okay, we have the link because we as you can see we dragged the player transform over here, so we have the position of player. So as the second argument we just passing the target position, which we know the player position we want to move. And this third parameter it will take the speed. Okay, we gonna pass the speed parameter. As you can see by default we selected 1.5 unit, and we also have to multiply this time dot delta time to make frame rate independence. Okay, so you have to type this star and time. Okay, sorry, time dot delta time. Okay, time dot delta time. Okay, and we're gonna set. Okay, this is so we what we're gonna do, okay, we're gonna do transform. Okay, transform dot position. Okay, transform dot position equal to this. And vector2 dot move towards takes the current position, which we know transform dot position means the current position of eagle, and it will take the third second argument the target position. So we have passed the player dot position as the second argument, and the third argument it will take the speed, how much fast it should go. So we have passed the speed parameter. As you can see by default we selected 1 by 1.5, but we can adjust in the inspector. That's why we made it public. Okay, So we are setting transform dot position equal to this. Okay, so control s on your keyboard and head again to Unity. Okay, you will able to see once the player comes in this attack radius, so the hit over there will be true, and if it's true, so what we are doing, we just moving transform dot position, we are setting equal to this factor 2 dot move towards, which takes the current position transform and the target position, and the third argument will take the speed, how much fast that should go. Okay, so just wait for to compile, and you will able to see if the player comes in this attack radius, the eagle will follow the player. Okay, the eagle will follow the player. Just wait for to compile, just wait for to compile. Okay, just wait for to compile. And what we need to do, uh, so if we hit play, okay, if we hit play, and the eagle, okay, and the eagle will only target the player layer. As we know, as a layer mask, we have passed the player layer, so it will only check the player layer. If the player comes in this radius, okay, if the player comes in this radius, the eagle will follow the player. As you can see, whenever come I came in this near in this radius, as you can see, when I don't, it's not following. Okay, as you can see, when I just uh, out of the circle of this attack radius, out of the attack radius, as you can see, it's not following. So over here hits becomes follow. As you can see, the hits become follow. If the hits is follow, we are not doing anything like that. But if the hit is true, then we are just following the player in with this speed. Okay, speed parameter, as you can see. Now if we go to, as you can see, whenever whenever the player is not colliding with this circle, as you can see, the eagle is not following. But when we collide with this circle, as you can see, the eagle following the player. Okay, actually this hits become true. Okay, this hit becomes true. Over here, physics 2d dot overlap circle. Okay, if the player comes in this physics 2d dot overlap circles becomes true, so the hits over here true. Okay, if the hits is true, we are setting the player eagle position to and we are just following the target position. As you can see, vector 2 dot move towards function takes the current position and the target position you want to want to go, and the third parameter, it will take the speed. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. And what we need to do, we're gonna make this prefab. Okay, we're gonna make this prefab of this eagle. Now if we just create, go to assets. Okay, create an prefab folder and select the eagle and drag it to the prefab folder. Okay, and now if we delete from the scene view, okay, scene view or hierarchy, we will able to restore that, because we made that prefab or a copy of that object. Okay, eagle. So if I delete from this in view, I can drag the prefab or the copy of that eagle. As you can see, it is saved. So as you can see, player transform says none, so we also have to just drag the player transform or the player position into this slot. Okay, I hope you get the idea. And if you enjoyed this video, then like this video, okay, and share it with your friends who just want to learn Unity from the beginning. Okay, and if you are new to my channel, then subscribe it for future tutorials. Okay,